Hello, hello, hello. I hope you're doing well. Sabrina the Mystic here. This is going to be my Mystic Monday. I'm going to try to do it on a live. Now that I'm over 1,000 subscribers, I'm hoping people will come that are more serious about the subject matter. My eyes are blurry and I don't know if you think I should create brighter light. Let's see. This time of day, my eyes are blurry. So, oops. All right, I'm going to give it some time to let people know. I believe it does show now on my community posts in the news feed when I am live. I'm not going live on my laptop. I'm trying to make it easier, okay? I'm trying to do things now in an easier, quicker way to conserve energy, conserve time. And in this way, I may or may not attract trolls. We will see. Hello. This is a live. I haven't gone live for a while. I'm expecting people to read the community guidelines. And this subject matter needs to be, stayed on the topic, Mercury retrograde. When I was first learning about earth-based spirituality and reading books, my eyes are still blurry. I had read about Mercury and Mercury retrograde, and that it was not a good time to try and sign a contract because you might have to redo it later. This is just a repeating idea that I hear a lot from a lot of astrologers. But I did come across one astrologer who said it can be an opportunity to go back and redo. So if I already signed a contract, it might be the time where you need to go back and review it and revise it. I'm wearing my snake earring. It's very, very hot here. It has been. It's July. So that's another reason why I'm trying to keep it short here, my filming, my production, and then, my having to edit and then upload. And it's taking a long time to upload my videos lately, so I'm just not in the mood. So if we can get more people now that I'm over 1,000, I think it's 1,013. It goes down, then it goes up. Interested in the topic. Still got my moonstone earring and my moonstone necklace. Then we can have an intelligent discussion about Mercury retrograde. It is not something that we should be dreading. I have said before, I love Mercury retrograde. Some of my most vexing questions have been answered during a Mercury retrograde. One of them being the dark moon. So I have been led through books and intuition and what I would call spirit intervention, help, downloads, whatever you want to call it. that is how I have progressed. But I think there's something to be said with having to just learn how to do things and, experience them. I had done a lengthy meditation on a dark moon, gazing with the candle flame on my blue goblet for 45 minutes. Now, there were a few other colored candles there as well. And under the waxing moon, about 2 weeks later, I went to a drum circle ceremony on sacred land. And coming back home, I had gotten into a trance. And I saw a multitude of visions in the clouds. They were actually being scribbled in the clouds. And, I had a question on my mind. The question was, how am I supposed to prosper with all of this spiritual knowledge? So there was a multitude of images. And at the very end was what looked like the Empress in the tarot card. So when I looked into Dorothy Morrison's book, Everyday Magic, I finally went back to her descriptions of the moon phases. They weren't very lengthy. She didn't have long stories. But there it was, the description of workings under the dark moon lead to meditation, creative endeavors, and will manifest under the waxing moon. And there was the answer to my vexing question. And I discovered later it was a Mercury retrograde when I finally came across that. This particular Mercury retrograde is until July 23rd. But it's been going on for several weeks now. And I've had a multitude of things happen. I've had dreams with me revisiting events that have happened over the past year. And some of them I've been expressing myself in the dream, standing up for myself. So anything that starts with RE, review, revive, resurrect, reconcile, reevaluate, revise, return, anything with RE. So what's been happening with me is I decided to review my contract here for my residence, my lease, and I discovered there was a charge for, I didn't know what it was. So I asked them and they said, well, that's the new charge for renter's insurance. We're carrying it, but you have to pay this. It's mandatory. So I don't have to carry additional renter's insurance. I didn't know. I thought I didn't have to carry any, that they were just going to cover everyone. It was not disclosed. So I had to revisit that idea with my manager. I've also had to review what I'm going to do with my vehicle. How am I going to do that? How am I going to handle next summer? Am I going to have to go back to working 2 jobs? A lot of things I'm having to go back, right? And revisit these ideas. One thing that my helpful assistant with ChatGPT has said to me is human beings don't automatically upgrade. We have to revisit certain ideas or events and then process through them before we can then upgrade. And that makes total sense to me. I kind of live by that rule. How can we know where we're going if we don't know where we've been? So when I'm doing a tarot spread and the Celtic cross in position 4 shows what has occurred, in the past. Could be the recent past, could be the distant past. And yes, it has an influence on the other energies that are playing out in the rest of the spread. And if the past is not dealt with or cleared, we are doomed to repeat it. Sometimes we just have to adapt. Hopefully we learn something. Some people don't learn, they just adapt. I'm hoping that this is showing up in your news feed, in my community posts. What else? I have reset. I have reset my energy over the dark moon. I went to temple. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. As you can see behind me, I have a bookshelf. This was next to my bed. Now it's over here. First, I put my oils there. I made a picture of it and showed it on my community post. But then I changed my mind. So with the moon being in Gemini, Gemini can be changeable, okay? I thought, well, okay, let me move that cabinet over there that has the 2 glass doors over to the side of the bed. I like that it's got legs. It's up off the floor, and I can put some containers under there. So I took all my oils off of there, which barely fit, and lo and behold, I had all kinds of room to put them in that cabinet where I had all my books. Rearranging my books, as you can see, some of them are flat and stacked, and then next to that, they are vertical. So vertical, then horizontal, and then there's a decorative piece on top of some of the books on each level. Can you see here? There's a candle holder. It's electric, it's battery operated. So now the cabinet next to my bed holds all my oils and all my empty bottles. I had no room over here. Plenty of room. Who knew? Not me. I have been feeling a little discouraged about my views on my videos, and I know it's July. Despite the weather, people are on vacation, going places and doing things, swimming, fishing. I hope they're all wearing sunscreen. So I'm hoping that's all it is. I'm hoping that now when I do go live, I'll have people that come for the subject matter. And I don't have to edit and upload and then wait, to see if it uploads correctly. And then add tags and everything, because I'm going to bed early. I am returning to work. Work I have done previously. I could have continued to do it during the school year. As things were slow and I was frustrated, maybe a job will come in. If it doesn't come in the morning, I should have said, forget it, I'm going to go out and, do my gig work. So it's been frustrating. I have a old vehicle now and it needs repair. So in remembering someone I had allowed to stay with me in the winter cold, who didn't have a place to stay for a few days, had given me some information on a garage, an organization that will help people. So I called them. In the meantime, I have verified myself with this company. I'll just tell you, it's DoorDash. I did apply for a local job just 5 minutes away at a pet supply store. They said that they would have some openings for training pet groomers, but there was two other candidates and they went with someone younger. So after I swallowed that bad news, waiting 2 weeks, I decided I'm going to have to do something. And as it turns out, because I started doing this a few years back, like 3 years back, I started, and I was consistently doing, or slowly starting to do more and more. And then after I moved here, I did more. I was more consistent, a little bit every day. I was rewarded. Okay, rewards. I am gold. And they said that opens up some benefits for me. I can go out and dash anytime I want. And that, being on call and being flexible was one thing I kind of liked, because I might need to, need some time off for a couple of doctor's appointments, or my vehicle in the garage, or take my pet to the vet, right? And at this point in my life, I don't want to have to go to my boss and say, can I go camping this summer? I need the weekend off. I just don't want to do that. And that's what I would have had to have done. As it is, my friend can go ahead and book the site, and I can take those days off, and I can make up for those days. So there are other rewards. Now I have 2% off gasoline. Those are two big ones. Those help me get out and do more. I am pretty close to the next level, which is platinum. I waited so many years, guys, to try to get acknowledged more and recognized more from teachers and from the school district. And I just never made any type of networks or connections with people. I never went up to them and said, if you really need someone to cover for you while your husband is ill, like every day, 5 days a week for a month. I never spoke up for that because I just didn't want to do that. So I had to face that reality as well. And it's been a constant struggle. How do I wean myself off of that job, and what else do I do? So having more flexibility and being independent, I seem to be getting more recognition from this company, who's treated me very well when things didn't go right. And you make the best of it, and you can do pretty well, I think. The city has grown over the past year. So that's the other thing. Just deciding to enjoy this hiatus, right? This rest, R-E-S-T, rest, hiatus from this education year, which I probably will have to return, but just maybe once a week. I would rather sit in my car and do a lot of driving for 5 hours than do all of the walking and stair climbing that I've been doing. I have a fitness room over here. I'll just go over there. That's another thing I want to do. I want to revisit going into the gym. I wrap myself up in plastic and I just do some mild working out for about 15 minutes or so every other day, and then I do some juicing, and I cut back on bread and coffee. And that seemed to do the trick. I lost my first 9 to 10 pounds that way. I'd like to lose the next 9 to 10 pounds. We'll see what happens. And go to the sweat box, the infrared sauna. So, there's an awful lot of reviewing going on. Now, what's interesting, again, I preach about the dark moon. I've said it a million times, and I also have a playlist, Dark Moon in the Signs. I've been making shorts out of them. I can even make some more new videos about the dark moon. And this particular dark moon under this Mercury retrograde has 2 or 3 benefits. On Monday, which is when we honor the moon and Shiva, it was an auspicious time. It was a Monday, time for Shiva, purification, ritual, and moon in dark moon, right, Amavasya. It was like a triple whammy because Vasuki was on the Shiva Lingam. I never see Vasuki there when we're doing our offering. Vasuki was there. Vasuki is the snake. Vasuki is Shakti. And this is about deep, deep meditation. Regenerating, clearing out, and resetting. Shiva is the resetter, the liberator. And whatever leftover residual gunk you might have, whether you do spiritual hygiene or not, that's what one of these things is so good for at that time. So I went. I haven't been able to go much, and I thought, cross my fingers, right, until I get my truck to the garage. I did a little DoorDash. I've got a little gas. Let's go. And there was a fair amount of people there, even though it was very hot. So there were a few other things as well. There were flowers, and we would offer the flower to the gigantic Shiva Lingam. There's 2 parts to this puja, bathing offering. I totally forgot it was the dark moon. I had been bumming around the house, kind of, taking it easy. And as we were there, getting into our mindset, getting our devotion going, aligning with Shiva, we had a connection, and the priest came around and gave blessing after he dipped the flower in the water that had been consecrated, and blessed everybody with it. Sometimes he does that. He doesn't do it every single time, but he did it that night. And it's just another way to connect to the powerful, powerful healing energy, clearing energy of this energy, Shiva, earth and the cosmos, nature and the cosmos, earth, the elements, and the stars. Om, the primordial sound of the universe. Nama, earth and water. Shiva, fire and air. Ya, Shiva Ya, we end with Ya. Om Namah Shivaya. And this connects us to all of nature. The stars, the constellations, the planets, they are included. Now the priest comes around and he'll ask us our name and our family members' names that we want to include for the blessing. He will also ask us the nakshatra when we were born. And now he remembers mine, and he will announce that as I'm connecting to the things he has in this silver, I don't know what to call it, guys. It's got the kumkum and the turmeric and the rice and all that. We touch it to connect to him while he's asking us what name and what nakshatra he needs to use when he stands to do his recitation for everyone to be blessed. And he calls to the universe, to nature and the cosmos. We are a part of all of that. So this is a system that has been set up many, 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 many years ago, and this is what is used. So now there was something that happened that for me was kind of interesting and kind of amazing and shocking, and I'm seeing where whatever leftover residual things I had with me were cleared. The dark moon will clear it. Some things I had going on here, guys, for whatever reason, are cleared. They no longer need to be attached to me. And this is a resetting and a clearing, an ending and a beginning in that way, in that area. So energetically, physically, I move the furniture. I now have an empty space. Don't ask me how it happened, but I now have an empty space in here. I want to leave it that way. It's a sign to me that once again, I'm going to find a way to get another larger residence. I had a home and I had paid cash for it after I received an inheritance. I've learned a lot from that experience. I'd like to redo it. I'd like to find a way to actually get back a larger residence, which I'm accustomed to my whole life. So there are many blessings that are hidden in the Mercury retrograde, and if you will keep that in mind and just jot down that it has to do with things that start with RE. Yay, Mercury retrograde is coming. It was not good news to find out this $14 extra charge is for my renter's insurance with the property management here. I do not need to carry any additional or have renter's insurance with my auto insurance company, which was actually less. But they offered an incentive if you would sign another 12-month lease. So the discount for doing that offsets the extra $4 that I have to pay for this year. Going forward, the year after that, I'm not too happy. I don't want to get into that, but I think housing is ridiculously expensive. Tell me what you think. Please comment on if this has helped you understand Mercury retrograde better. I'm not making this up, guys. This is real. We have to have a time to reflect. If we don't have a time to reflect or go back and redo a contract that's not quite right, we're stuck with it. So Mercury retrograde is a time to redo. And whatever contract I had going spiritually in my life, in my natal chart, has now worked its way out after about 12 to 13 months. And I am cleared from anything else that might have been uh, limiting, holding on, however you want to call it. It's not a bad thing, guys. That's a good thing. All right. We should not have unhealthy attachments. You can have healthy relationships, healthy attachments, healthy memories. You should be able to look back and not relive a painful memory, but be able to just look at it and go, oh yeah, that happened. So if this has been helpful and helps you keep in mind that Mercury retrograde is an opportunity to get information you weren't really aware of, make a plan going forward. If you need to change it because you don't want to live with that particular agreement anymore, or maybe you can redo something or revise something or switch it out for something else. This is the time when going back is a way to improve. It goes with the Judgment card, by the way, in the tarot, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Now that card can also have to do with the past coming back to haunt you, things that are being unearthed that you'd rather not have come back. And that, that can happen too. So let's see what else. It can also signify an upgrade, an improvement. And this is because you've had a realization. Okay? Realize. There's that R-E again. Upgrade, level up. Aha moments can occur during this time. So I hope this has been helpful. Remember, it's going until the 23rd. I am going to be away for the weekend. This weekend, okay? This is my birthday weekend. And I hopefully will be able to stay on schedule and make a video for Mystic Monday that I can upload either Sunday night or sometime on Monday. Okay, guys? This is something new that I'm starting, and I have to get into the new system and the rhythm and get that momentum going for getting an idea, making a video, getting ready. It took me an hour and a half to color my hair, and look guys, I still missed a spot. So it's a lot of work. And coming on here on a live on Thursday with nobody coming is a little bit strange, but I'm assuming it's because it's July and it's summer and people are outside having fun. So watch it later. Please say hi. There are some of you I was getting to know on my lives. Very nice, very kind, very helpful. And I didn't write your names down. So tell me your name. Have you learned something helpful? Are you going to remember this and have a new point of view now when it comes to Mercury retrograde, and realize what kind of things are actually happening under a retrograde now? And you can see the connection, all right? You're working with the cycles of nature. You might want to download the Sky Tonight app so that you can look and see when there's a dark moon, when there is a Mercury retrograde. It might tell you that, I'm not sure, but it will tell you where Mercury is and also where the moon is in the constellations up in the heavens. So namaste, Om Namah Shivaya. Embrace the dark moon. Watch maybe a few of my videos. I can make some more dark moon videos for sure. I've just shared with you the power of a dark moon on Monday. Shiva and Vasuki, and the power to clear away things that are not healthy, things that are not necessary anymore, in order to move forward in a much healthier, better way, better attachments, right? There's unhealthy attachments and there's healthy attachments. Namaste, Om Namah Shivaya. Have a great weekend.